It is Friday, September 18th, and this is your tropical update. There is the current state of the Atlantic. And like I predicted yesterday, we have dipped into the Greek alphabet. Yes, we now have tropical storms Alpha and Beta. Actually, Alpha is now post-tropical, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. We still have Teddy and Winfred as well, and two other disturbances all out there in the Atlantic. The latest update on Beta just actually came in from the National Hurricane Center, and the hurricane hunters just went out there a little while ago and they found Beta to be much stronger, so we can cross off that 40 and make it a 60. I'll go ahead and update it on the screen here. And that's basically where the storm is going. It's going to make a left turn and it's just going to kind of ride the coast of southern Texas there. And we're now seeing this thing expected to become a hurricane as early as Sunday morning. Initially, that forecast wasn't until Monday morning. So the storm is going to strengthen a lot further and it's going to stay a hurricane a lot closer to Texas. And now hurricane watches are posted all the way from very far south down the coast of Texas, all the way up almost to the Texas-Louisiana border. And tropical storm watches extend all the way down to Brownsville and all the way east pretty far into Louisiana. And now we take a look at the earliest reasonable arrival time for those tropical storm force winds. So the thinking is from the National Hurricane Center, pretty much by sunrise on Sunday approximately is when you need to have your preparations done down and along the Gulf Coast, anywhere from Brownsville all the way up through almost to New Orleans, and then down a pretty good ways into Mexico as well. And as you can see, parts of the Texas coast have greater than a 50-50 shot at seeing those tropical storm force winds. And this map is from the 4 p.m. update. I imagine that chance is much higher and much more widespread by now. Now let's take a look at some of the other storms that we have going on in the Atlantic. There's Teddy, and another change that was made at the 10 p.m. updates was that Hurricane Teddy is now back up to Category 4 intensity. It briefly weakened down to a Cat 3 with 125. Now it's back up to 130, so not a huge difference, but it is one category higher. There's the storm. Hurricane force winds surround it just barely, and then tropical storm force winds surround it much farther. And the thinking is that 2 a.m. Monday is when this storm passes just to the east of Bermuda, and there's that tropical storm watch off to the left covering the entire island. And I think actually as of the latest advisory it's been dropped, but either way, Bermuda, y'all need to have your eyes on this storm because it's been kind of flippity-floppity. It's not really been very consistent on the track, so I would keep an eye on it, even if the National Hurricane Center doesn't exactly tell you to. But that's it for Teddy for the most part. It's going to be a major hurricane. It's going to come in there probably as a Cat 3 or Cat 2. And then there's Tropical Storm Winfred. I think it's probably going to dissipate rather quickly here. Maybe hang on a few days if it's lucky as a tropical storm and then dissipate out over the open water of the Atlantic by early next week. Now let's take a look at what was Subtropical Storm Alpha and is now post-tropical. It dissipated over Portugal, and the storm made landfall earlier, and it just kind of is continuing right up through there. It's moving pretty quickly too, at a rate of about 16 miles per hour to the northeast, and it's going to be moving through Spain and weakening further. That pretty much wraps it up for the Atlantic. We've had 23 named storms, and we're just now to the peak of hurricane season. We have the rest of September and all of October to get through, and November, and possibly even some storms in December. There's the Eastern Pacific, one disturbance out there, that's it. And maybe over the next couple of days it drops some rain over Mexico as it starts to get better organized. But for the most part, the storm will be moving out to sea and only has a low chance of development. And then as for the Central Pacific, nothing going on in there at all. the disturbance we were tracking a few days ago has fizzled. This wraps up your tropical update. Please hit like and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's try to get me up to 35 or 36. Follow me on Twitter and Parler. Get you a t-shirt or any of my other merchandise. Link for my online stores in the description below. Be sure to tune in for Saturday Night News tomorrow at around 6 o'clock. And we're going to have a lot of interesting stuff. You'll have your tropical update, some politics, some other news as well. And if you're in the path of Tropical Storm Beta or Major Hurricane Teddy, be sure to take proper precautions.